Welcome back. Trying to save paper, but that results in more buttons to push. Forgive me. I'd like to recognize Sharon Scholl, wave to a Sharon, for your never-ending contributions to the Music Committee, along with Hope and Jeannie and Rob. As a tone-deaf and musically semi-literate person, having their input and resourcefulness in finding relevant hymns is invaluable. Thank all of you. It's great. I was assigned, forgive me, I was asked to do this introduction a little while ago, and as, gosh, the deadline showed up, I started pondering, what am I going to talk about? So I started with the the Declaration of Independence, which is a pretty cool document, and then I couldn't figure anything out there. Then I read more about the beginning days of our country, and I said, that's not going to fit. And I got a lot of pages written on, just letting you know, this isn't a 1 hour thing, okay? So and I'm not asking for I'm not a hero, I just did it. So I got to work on it and something came out. The worship team, composed of our lay leader, Peter Racine. We have Todd Bettis, who you saw on the trombone today, Carol Hawkins, I see you, Penny Reed and Crystal Vakes, and me, is one of the best groups I have ever worked with. If you want to see really good, thoughtful, caring, and efficient work done, drop in on one of our meetings. They're on Zoom. We'll let you know. Their knowledge and contacts and willingness to work as a team are just wonderful things. We strive to provide quality Sunday services with our lay minister, Peter, and also we try to find good speakers when Peter's not in the pulpit, and of course for our summer series. I am honored to be a part of that team. I've been asked, as I said, required, to introduce this summer series. So my talk is listed as Defending Our Country for Freedom. And as Penny said, there's more stuff. Resistance and Resilience, and subtitled Quest for Democracy, Freedom, and Justice, and Maybe the American Way. All we need is Captain America, and we're ready to go. But let's go. Let's see what I have to say, which is not much. I really have something. I'm thinking of the 3 R's. People have been showing resilience, an amazing amount of resistance in the last 18 months ago. So we embarked on a quest to find people from different organizations to talk about what they're doing to keep our democracy and our society in place, or just to make it from day to day for some of those people. So in a week, next Sunday, July 12th, come on down, the Singing Resistance Jacks Choir will sing for us. Bridget Beck is one of their members. They have performed at many events here in Jacksonville. I think they rehearse here, and we look forward to that. The following Sunday, the 19th of July, Julie Miller will sit down with Carol for a chat. Miss Miller was a librarian in Clay County, in one of the high schools, I think, and she had the absolute gall to ask why books were being pulled off the shelves. She was removed from her position as a librarian and put in a classroom, which she said she really didn't have the training to do, but they didn't want her in the library anymore. She makes an appearance in the PBS show, The Librarians. Has anybody seen it? Don't watch it right before you go to bed. It'll make your stomach go nuts. We did. It was a foolish thing, but we found something silly to watch after that. Ms. Rona de Camillo, I think it's Camillo, of the League of Women Voters, will let us know what issues the League is focusing on. You'll remember that the League of Women Voters is out front on many voting issues in the nation or the state. She'll visit us on the 26th of July, and on August 2nd, the Reverend Madison Hilt of the Riverside Church at Park and King will be in the pulpit. Reverend Hilt is a trans person serving as one of the ministers at Riverside Church. Gail Kester will talk on August 9th. She is, for lack of a better description, an activist for democracy. She and her husband created Unified Nassau, and later on she developed a Substack called Democracy Under Fire. And August 16th will bring us Miss Courtney Jones, I think Miss Courtney Jones, that may be a different person, of the ACLU. Yep, there's another good group to talk to us about the efforts of their organization to work for our constitutional rights and protections. I think the ACLU is really busy. And at the end of the summer, on August 23rd, Isaiah Rumlin of the local NAACP chapter will talk to us. On the 30th of August, we're going to have a roundtable discussion of what we did, what we saw, and what we learned this summer. Penny, Peter, and I will take your questions, take your comments, and just chat about it. Take notes during the series, because we look forward to your comments and critique. There will be a test. There will? There will. Okay. As I said, I've titled the rest of this the 3 R's, because we have resistance and resilience, right? So I got a third one. The first R in our work, our lives, our jobs, can be resignation. Not resigning from your job, but you resign yourself to your place or your loss or your boss. We've all done it. You see something, some change coming, and you try to decide if you need to just sit there and wait it out. Maybe you see an end to the current problem. I had many bosses in the Navy, and I knew in about 18 months there was going to be somebody else coming in. So you can hold out for that long. But maybe you hope that that will happen, and you can wait it out. I just said that. So after all, the last boss eventually left or was fired. And it's easy to resign ourselves to resignation. Indeed, in the document we celebrated yesterday, it notes, prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Don't rush to judgment, they're saying. Hang in there. Friday's coming. But after a while, your resignation turns to irritation. What do? Well, we thought resilience was a good answer to that question. Resilience, by definition, is the ability to adapt, recover, and grow after facing adversity, trauma, or other significant stress. We move forward. We don't get stuck or overwhelmed by adversity. What do we do to adapt to this new normal and strengthen ourselves? Well, we start underground clubs where we can complain about the boss. We slow down production maybe just a little bit so no one notices. We do our jobs. We give lip service to the requirements and rules. We're less resigned than before to our position or our boss's peculiarities. We grow in our own character, less afraid of consequences. What if change doesn't come, though? What if every attempt to reform the system from inside is rebuffed? What if you're just tired of it all and want to change things? Well, let's go back to the Declaration. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it's their right, no, it's their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. What is our sacred duty as oppressed people to do in the face of this oppression? Third R, we resist. One definition of resistance says, an active effort to prevent something or a refusal to accept changes. This isn't underground, this is upfront. Resistance can take many forms. omitting your tasks, not doing them at all. The boss may not remember they assigned the job to you anyway, and you thought it was not important. That's kind of guerrilla resistance. Maybe nothing has changed, but you feel good inside for your resistance. Less stealthy examples may include standing up for what is right in the face of that adversity, or refusing unlawful orders and commands in your workplace. I think overt demonstrations of resistance certainly have a place. The opposition marches may not be changing much today, but there's a message getting sent. We have a long tradition in our country, from even before its existence as a country, to the present day, of resistance and just standing up for what is right. A couple months ago, maybe a year ago, Peter circulated a list of our elected representatives. I have Mr. Bean, he's my representative in his bafflingly gerrymandered district, on speed dial on my phone. I've called him several times. He hasn't answered yet. I don't know if he can do anything anyway, because the Speaker of the House is always shutting down Congress before anything can happen, at the behest of usually the president. I tried to make my comments to Mr. Bean in a polite manner. Starting off with, "Look, you idiot," tends to predispose the receiver to ignore the comment. Now, one group that's making its voice heard is our religious professionals. From Catholic bishops to local ministers speaking out for their congregants, these pastors are protecting their flocks. One is a local minister in Clay County who makes several appearances on the aforementioned PBS show, The Librarians. I recommend you watch before Miss Miller speaks in a few weeks, and look for the minister from Clay County. It's pretty good. In his Nobel Prize acceptance speech, William Faulkner, after giving some advice to the next generation of authors and writers, he said to write from the heart, not the glands. He notes that we will not merely endure, but that we will prevail. And prevail we must. Resist we must. In the face of the loss of freedoms, or discrimination against our fellows, or excessive use of authority, or inappropriate use of authority. As we asked a couple summers ago, what is our call to action? What can we do to resist these unlawful uses of power? How much must we accept before we stand up to be counted? I look forward to this summer's speakers. I hope you're able to attend the series, and remember, take notes. Thanks.